20-minute mastermind because unfortunately she couldn't be with us because her internet is just playing up. She's going to get it fixed hopefully as soon as possible. She'll be back with us. But I've got the lovely Julianne with us today. And today we're going to be talking to you about different ways and mechanisms that you can use to cope with this crazy situation that's going on around us, with obviously the pandemic and COVID and lockdowns and all these kind of things. We want to help you stay positive through these difficult times. I pass it over to you, Julianne, and hear what you've got to say about this.
Thank you, Simon, for the lovely introduction. And yes, we are missing Laurie in this moment. Say hello to her. So that's why we're only going to be 20 minutes on, because we are missing the 10 other minutes with her. All right. So yes, it is a strange situation we're all in, but of course, we are not without any power. It's not that we don't have any power in this whole situation. So it's up to us to always claim it back. And some good ways are to always raise your own vibration. I mean, doing things, and everyone is individual. Everyone raises his or her vibration in a different way. But it's very important, no matter what you like to do, to raise your vibration, to be in a higher state of vibration, in some point that makes you feel good. No matter what you prefer doing, just do more of it. Meeting friends or connecting with friends online, or going out in nature. Again, it's always this finding the reconnection to nature. I think I feel for myself is very helpful. That's why I'm trying to spend as much time as possible outside in nature, doing walks, or just maybe also sitting by the beach. And if you don't have a beach, then sit on the grass or or wherever, and try maybe grounding, which is good, sucking all the negativity out of your feet and your whole body. Eating well, of course, is another one. Trying to stay focused on healthy food, a lot of fruit and veg. Of course, sometimes it's also important to give yourself a little bit of sweets. And yeah, and just be yourself, and yeah, not anyone else, because the rest is already taken. How about you, Simon?
Yeah, I completely agree with you, Julianne, about all of that, and definitely getting out into nature. I found that to be such a huge benefit for me, not just during this time, even just throughout my life. If I've been feeling down, or just generally to keep my mood high pretty much all the time, or as much as possible, I like to get out into nature, if it's for a walk or for a run, or when I'm near the coast, I go for a swim in the sea. Just reconnecting with nature is such a powerful thing to boost your mood. And I think through humanity becoming more and more, residing more and more in cities, lost that connection with nature, and it's so important. There's loads of studies showing how powerful reconnecting with nature can be for our mental and physical health. Just for example, one I read a while ago, they compared people who were staying in a hospital, who were sick, and if they had a view of a forest or trees or something, some natural beauty, they actually got healthier quicker than somebody who was just looking out at a brick wall. So even just seeing nature can boost
Yeah.
your mood. Even even if you just look at nature on a photo or a video on your computer or on the TV, that's actually been found to boost. So there's some kind of powerful intrinsic connection we have with nature that we need to, well, a lot of people I'd say should rediscover. Even if you go out for a 10-minute walk or 15-minute walk at lunchtime, because if you're working your day, because a lot of people are working from home these days, you're going to be on the computer a lot and just inside. So just try and take them to go for a 15-minute walk in the local park or something. It doesn't have to be some
True.
uh, lush rainforest or something. Even just going for a walk in the park can help you.
Hmm. But what are we doing? Like, for instance, I mean, I'm sure we all have come up with excuses saying, "Oh well, I don't have a park, I don't have a beach, I cannot go for a walk, and
Mm,
this and that." But I feel and that as we think so much in pictures in our head, you know, we use our mind all the time for creating images, uh, but we decide if they want to be good images or not. So if, for instance, someone is in a situation in a hospital, for example, that and you don't have a nice forest or a tree to look out on, then we can still create this image in our head, you know. And so people who are at this moment, at this very moment, deprived of something they would love to have, they can in the first place create it in their head. And it is I mean it is a work to do this, and but it's work and self-discipline to tell
mm,
oneself, yeah, okay, now let me think about that. Because if I say to you right now, for instance, if I say to you, think about an egg, and you close your eyes, you see the egg, right?
mm, mm,
So you can give yourself a sort of like a command and say, okay, well, now let me think about a tree, let me think about a
mm,
beach, or let me feel the ocean, or let me feel the water on my skin, things like that. So you can do that yourself if you don't have that circumstance and that environment right in this minute around you. We can all do that. Um,
yeah, think um, I think this goes back to what we were talking about on our last episode as well. We were talking about digital minimalism, and I think because people are so connected to their phones and social media and the news, there's a constant stream of news. They don't give themselves time to think. They don't have that space with their own mind. They're always trying to escape
mhm.
because they want to escape in, or not they want to, but they're being led to believe that that's the thing for them to escape in social media or streaming YouTube or Netflix, which I'm not against these things in moderation, but the way they're set now, you go from one YouTube video to the next automatically unless you turn that feature off. So you should try and turn those things off, or the otherwise you can hours and hours can slip by watching these things. And yeah, you need that space with your own mind to form your own thoughts and look inwards and discover what's going on in your own mind and how. And it might not always be good, but it helps you to overcome these things. You can look at what's fit mentally
Exactly.
and physically.
Because right at this
Yeah, and you can then think about.
exactly
Oh, go
because
ahead.
right at this minute there are so much information that we are drowned with information bombarded to us from all sides, basically. And
Hmm.
since people are in a state of fear, they're seeking more and more information, and answers probably as well.
Mm.
But but the information or the things we are seeking basically is also the research we have to do on our own self, and a lot of answers we are actually seeking we find only in our own self, uh, shutting up the surroundings sometimes. It's not that we ignore it, but we shouldn't um, make the mistake to ignore what we actually have to say, or what our own desires are, or our own wants are. Because if we shut that up, we shut our own selves up, then that's detrimental to our health as well. Um, and
Absolutely.
and that
Yeah.
So listening to yourself, and like you said, maybe slowing things down a little bit, minimalizing the consumption of social media, and going out into nature a little bit more often, or having just simply more meaningful conversations with people,
Mm.
um, like like we are doing right now.
Yeah.
That's
And yeah, and when you put away your devices, your phone or your other things, tablet, and you, for example, if you go out for a tea with someone, or even if you sit with having a tea via video like this, it's not the same thing, but it's still, you're seeing that person's face and you're talking to them. But if you're without distraction, really listen to the other person, and they will listen to you, and you can empathize with each other. And I think that's such a powerful thing. That's what a lot of people are lacking in today's world. They feel like they're not being listened to, they're not being heard, and that comes a lot from all these distractions, I think. And if you get rid of these distractions or minimize them, then you can listen to other people, and they'll listen to you, and you can get such knowledge and wisdom from other people that you don't always get from an endless stream of news
would
or Netflix.
would you say that, like you're saying, people feel they're not heard. Would you say that it can also be that they are not hearing or listening to themselves, what they actually have to say?
Yeah,
That they feel that way, that they're not feeling heard.
yeah, that you can. Yeah, that's right. You can say they're not heard by other people, but even deeper than that, they're not listening to themselves because they're
Yeah,
being distracted all the time. And something
yeah,
I as well that I've found recently, I used to watch the news quite often, especially back in the day when I was living with my parents or I'd be at my grandparents. It would be kind of a family thing to watch the news every day. But I found I keep informed and I like to know what's going on in the world, but I try to minimize my consumption of news because especially these days there's like these daily death tolls from COVID and the number of infections, and I don't think that's really not conducive to a happy life. Knowing daily death tolls, and I was talking to my mum about this yesterday, and my brother and other people. Why do we need to know the daily death tolls from a disease, and why is it this specific disease that we have to know that from, and we don't know it for the number of people dying from smoking every day, or the number of people dying from unhealthy eating or drinking? I think we don't need to know that, and I think to not consume that kind of content every day because it's going to bring your mood down considerably.
yeah. And it's not being ignorant. It's actually, I mean, a lot of people say, um, well, you're sort of like living maybe in a la la land state, ignoring ignoring the facts. but in the end, it's also you get what you focus on, and if your focus is like bombarded the whole day on COVID or on how bad the situation is, well, then we are feeding more and more energy to that, which we ultimately don't really want. So,
No,
so
no.
we have to, although it's an effort, make the effort to go shift to the total opposite, um, uh, like which is the total contrary of that. And not, I'm not saying not being informed about it, because it is important to know the facts and to be part of this society we all make up.
Yeah,
So it's a balance, I
something
think.
you could. Yeah, absolutely, and like something that I do think that social media can be used for good is sharing positive news stories and stories of like people going above and beyond, like the nurses and key workers and all these different people supporting society and um, positive environmental news. For example, going to be banning a lot of single-use plastic in 2021. These kind of
Right.
things don't get amplified enough, and I think we're always focusing on, or the mainstream media often focuses on doom and gloom stories, and it's keeping us in a state of fear and anxiety. But that's, I think they feel that people want to read, so they pump that out into their TV
Yeah.
shows and on their websites. But actually, I think a lot of people would love to read a lot more positive stories.
Well,
So,
it's doom and gloom. Maybe just at this minute has a little bit more, is just acting out with a little bit more conviction. So it's up to us, and all the ones out there who are like-minded and who feel the same way and who seek the same solutions. Yeah, to feed more energy into love, or whatever you want to call that. A positive vibe, Lala, or
yeah,
or
it's not.
how would you call it, Simon?
Well, I'd say that some people would call it naive, but I'd say it's being optimistic and believing in the the good in humanity. There's a book
Yeah,
I'm really keen to read by Rutger Bregman. It's called Humankind. It came out sometime earlier this year, and he focuses on stories of human good and all of the good things humans do for each other, and how we're not inherently selfish. Because if we were inherently selfish, we this far. We're not. We're weaker than many other animals, but we've survived through working together and our intelligence and
yeah,
working in as and being able to socialize each other. So this idea that we're all just out for number one, it's a ridiculous idea because we wouldn't have got this far in our development.
exactly.
Yeah, that's a book that I'm quite keen to read because I've read a previous book of him and he's focusing a lot on positive news. So I would say seek out positive content, positive videos, positive books, news sources, and also conversations like this.
Yeah,
Speak to people that make you feel happy, not and if not don't cut everybody out of your life. I'm not saying that at all. But if someone consistently is very negative and they're bringing you down, then maybe spend less time with them.
yeah. It is also not about like cutting people out. Sometimes it's necessary though, because your cups might be so empty that you don't really have any more to share or to give. But it's we can always give kindness. It doesn't
Mm.
need to be money or so. It can be just checking up on people, how they are and how they feel. And yeah, and that's also taking off your own mind, maybe of yourself,
Mm.
and focus on what you can actually give, other than what can I get, you know. So
Yeah, that's
how
super
are
important.
we on time? I think the 20 minutes are already gone.
Oh yeah, they zoom past. But
Yes,
that's
and
that's a really powerful point to end on, Julianne. Like I know it's so easy to with what's going on to kind of focus on the bad things that are happening to you. But I think as well, like you said, try not to focus all the time on yourself and your own problems. And the more you try and help other people, that actually benefits you as well. It boosts your happiness if you help other people, even if it's just a smile or a hello to someone you're passing on the street. That can boost their mood and your mood.
absolutely. Well, next
Yeah,
week, we hope we have our Lori back. And yeah, she's
definitely.
going to have better internet soon. And we missed you. But
Yeah, we missed you,
we can make up with a 40-minute mastermind then. And we wish you all a wonderful weekend. Make the
yeah.
most of it, and be kind, share the love. And
Have a positive weekend, guys, and enjoy. And see
and
you next
oh,
week.
we will put the book suggestion in the description on our page, right?
Yeah,
The one
yeah,
that you were
definitely.
suggesting,
Yes,
Simon. Okay. Have a
yeah. So go
wonderful
follow
weekend,
us on
everyone.
Facebook.
Mwah.
Bye,
Bye
guys.
bye.